Hi everyone and welcome back to Beyond the Kit. My name's Brett Morgan and today's guest is the great Mr. Trevor Barry. He's one of the top UK bass players here and has a fantastic career working with the likes of Elvis Costello, Freddie Mercury, George Benson, Yusuf Islam. The list goes on. I just wanted to thank Trev very much for taking the time out to do this with me. And I think you'll enjoy this. So hope you do. Trevor Barry, thanks so much for doing this with me.
And you are?
It's Brett. My name's Brett.
Oh, Brett.
Yeah,
Oh, Brett.
and you're Trev Barry.
You look like a guy I've worked with for like 40 odd years.
Yeah. So Trev, how long have you been, how did you get into this starting to play bass malarkey?
Oh, that's what, sorry. I started, well, like everyone from my era, wanted to be John Lennon from the Beatles. And when that job was taken, I realised I had to do something else. But I had guitar lessons. My dad and mum got me an old guitar and had lessons from.
How old were you then?
I said about 13.
Oh, okay.
And then I joined a youth orchestra, which was like in North London, called Young Jazz, which is like a version for not as good musicians as the guys that were in Niger, who used to play in both bands. Funny enough, a lot of the guys, and that turned into super jazz, and that was in regard to me trying to learn to read music, which I hated trying to do. And
I did as well.
And it was just so hard, and yeah. I just didn't work out. I'm dyslexic, and you weren't dyslexic in that at that time. There's no such thing. Playing in the big band, I mean, I could read chord charts.
Because you used to play guitar as well.
I'm still playing. I'm not playing bass. Yeah, I'm still.
Oh, this is great. Yeah,
I'm now
on guitar.
I'm now 15.
Yeah,
still playing guitar, and I'm playing in this big band, and I'm reading chord charts, and some notes are coming in, and I'm starting to learn a little bit, and then I started to play. The band leader there, who's my mentor, really, called Phil Revens, was. He used to have a function band. So I started doing gigs with him from about 15 years old. Myself and Simon Gardner, trumpet player, and a whole bunch of us, and at the end of the gig, he'd have us load up his orange Volvo with all the PA and everything while he had a drink or chatted up one of the bar ladies.
Yeah,
and I did that again till I was about 17, still playing guitar, but I started messing about on bass at that stage.
Right.
But I still not knowing what I couldn't get into music college. So I didn't have any of the qualifications. So I went into I got a gig in a function band going to Norway, although I had to get my mum's permission because I was only 17. And when I came back from that function band, 6 weeks later, the bass player left, and the band leader said, "Do I want to do the gig on bass?"
Wow!
So it comes from that, and from there we went into playing in a club in Wembley called the String of Pearls. No longer there, but it is there now. But I think it's called Holiday Inn. But
right.
Anyway, but from there, I'm in that band, which is only a 4-piece. I met musicians like Dave Hartley and Paul Dunn, guys that I still work with, and they were playing for 2 or 3 different cabaret artists a week, 6 nights a week.
So that must have been a bit of a roast because you swapped from guitar onto bass, and you're like,
yeah. But I mean, I've always had a reasonable ear, you know.
yeah,
So,
of course.
So when it came, I could pick up, and then I could see how the notes worked with the bass parts, and playing for so many different cabarets. Every week that I'd get it. My reading got together. Yeah, improved quite a lot. You know, quite quickly as well. You know, that was September. By Christmas, I would class myself as a good reader.
Ah, that's great.
So
that was your like childhood getting into it, and then how did you start to get into
this
studio sessions?
Well, my first foray into sessions was whilst playing in that band, and as I said, one of the piano player was Dave Hartley. His dad is Bob Hartley, who was head of music for Yorkshire Television. Of course, I knew none of this or what it meant at the time, but I through Bob put me in for one of his sessions, which was on a TV show called 321.
Yeah.
At Lansdowne Studio. And it was a Friday night that, and they were normally 2 to 5 and 6 to 9, you know, but we often just basically did one session. But that's where I met so many, the A Team, like Harold Fisher and Paul Keogh and Trevor Brown and Derek Watkins and Andy McIntosh and all those guys, and I think Harold was instrumental in giving me the nod for Alan Ainsworth, playing in those sort of led on.
Alan Ainsworth being the MD for a lot of TV shows, like Royal Variety, loads of shows. He was the MD on everything.
Yeah, he was the main TV guy, you know.
Definitely.
But back then there was a load of work on television, you know.
Loads.
I mean, there really was. I mean, must have been 3 or 4 or more MDs on each channel, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
All splitting over. We all did so much work through that. But that was my entryway into doing those sort of on TV things and record dates. And then that you know, again, through meeting the same people, and then when meeting you was when we started doing jingles for.
Yeah, I mean, crikey, how old were we? We were really young.
I don't know but you were more established. You were far more established at a younger age in jingles and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and I think I don't know exactly when I first met you.
No,
but I've got a feeling it would be a Ronnie Bond.
Ronnie Bond was a great jingle writer. It's no longer with us, unfortunately. No. But yeah, he was great. Yeah, did I meet you on that? I'm not sure.
I can't. I've tried to think.
Yeah.
It's like you've always been there, you know.
Yeah.
Terrible. Anyway.
It's terrible.
But it's worked out in the end.
We still kind of we can chat at least.
Well, yeah, we can be in the same room now.
I mean, how many times do we get together? We do these gigs or these shows or whatever, and then lunch or what. And we go outside and we sit on a bench. A bit like this.
It's very
and we just sit there like this.
Don't talk.
People watching, then cup of tea, sandwich.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's always good.
Yeah, no, I think we're a bit oddballs on sessions. Everyone would go to the pub or do something, and the two of us would just sit on a bench, you know, and wait for them to come back so we can go back to work and then go home.
Oh, man. We've done so many projects. So can you name any, like, I don't know, like major gigs that you did that kind of really took you on the path to, or was it just a combination of everything?
I think another thing, again, when I was quite young, 17, 18, maybe a year older, something around that year, I was still playing at Ronnie Scott's with that big band and some various things, and I got Jim Mullen. I remember Monty from Ronnie Scott's came up to me one day when I didn't know what was going on. He said, "Play well tonight." You know, I thought nothing of it. You know, they were. Jim Mullen was in and asked me to to join Morrissey Mullen,
Well, that's a hell of a
which
thing,
was
yeah.
which is a huge
What a
thing.
massive compliment.
Yeah, I mean, it was,
Rightfully so, man.
they were going. They were at the time they were a bit. I think Jim and Dick were a bit tired of doing they were doing poppy stuff, and they wanted to go back to jazz, more jazz related stuff, and they were using. I mean, Pete Jacobson joined the band, who sadly no longer was. Phenomenal musician, lovely man, funny, and obviously Neil Wilkinson was with them, Chris Fletcher, and Dick and Jim and myself, and then from that I played on the last 2 albums with Morrissey Mullen, and then I got fired for a bit, and then I got asked back after I think Morrissey Mullen gave me a bit of credibility in some areas, because I was doing other jazz gigs, and I did a residency with some dear mates up at Hampstead in I can't remember the name of the pub. Orange Grove? No, it wasn't that. Anyway, just one of the back roads where people like Sting and various other people would pop in, on a Sunday night.
And so when you in those early days when you were a kid and everything, who were your sort of influences? I know you were seriously into the Beatles, weren't you?
Well, yeah, everything.
But bass player wise, was there like one or a couple that influenced you?
I always liked. I mean, one of the bass players I can remember as a. I didn't particularly want to be a bass. Didn't listen to anyone when I wanted to and started playing the bass. I just loved playing the bass.
Yeah.
It was just seemed a natural fit for me. It was a fairly aggressive instrument, and it was, you could. I mean, I just loved the way it felt, and it just felt natural in my hands.
Yeah.
But bass players, I didn't start noticing them until I remember when Level 42, so it's 1980, something like that. They were an instrumental band. And like I say, being in Morrissey One, you'd be in the same sort of circuit.
Yeah.
So you'd get to hear about people. And you heard Marc King, and I couldn't understand how he did.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand how he did that. And I used to go to a load of gigs.
Right.
I think he was a drummer.
He was, wasn't he? Yeah.
I've since met Marc, and he's absolutely the nicest man in the world, as well as being a fantastic musician. And it really was an inspiration to me, trying to learn that style, which I got heavily into for a little while till I could do it, and then realised that I could never do it. I'll never be able to do it like him. So why don't I just try and play the bass? So that's basically, But Marc King was a big early influence. Yeah, and then guys, anything that would catch my eyes, like I'd hear Dave Sanborn record, and I'd hear Marcus Miller, and I'd love the musicality, the way he played, and his sound that jazz sound was fantastic. So Anthony Jackson, very big, led me on to playing.
It's a combination, isn't it, of all these great players that you kind of, over the years you hear. And
there's so many. I mean, it's hard to hear someone you like and not be inspired by them.
For sure.
Doesn't matter who it is. You can be watching a band now on Jules or whatever TV show's got a band on these days, and you go, "Oh, that's great." I mean, I watched Glastonbury this year. Always looking out for the bass players, seeing which ones are just playing the right notes in the right order with the right feel. I love it.
Do you remember like any disasters or?
Oh, we had plenty of near misses and walking. I was doing a 1 hour jingle for the late Paul Hart once, and phoned him. I got stuck in terrible traffic on the A1 coming in, and phoned him and say, Paul, I'm not sure I'm going to make the session. And he said, just get as quick as you can. And I said, oh, okay. So I made it into the session about 5 minutes to go before the end of the session. and I still was finished before the hour was up. You know,
well, Paul was amazingly quick, wasn't he?
He knew, and he also, one of the things about Paul is he knew he'd got what he wanted when he didn't have you go, oh, one more, maybe one more. He'd go, well,
phenomenal.
He's one of those guys that just knew he had what he needed.
Played everything as well, didn't he?
Well, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, there's been a few. There's just, you know, I'm thinking of times when you'd be doing a TV show and the music stand would drop halfway down, and that, you know, things like that make you.
Because we've done. I mean, you've done a lot of TV shows all over the place and gigs, and you work with so many artists as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
you were with Cat Stevens. Oh no, hang on. What? Yeah, his name
Yusuf Islam was Cat Stevens. When he came back to music, he didn't have a bass player, and he had the guys on the record. Obviously were friends of mine, and they, you know, I was invited along to do a sort of rehearsal just to see how. It was his first time back with the band. Yeah, and that was a 3-4 year adventure, 5-year adventure with Jess, which I loved. We went all around the world. Yeah, did a load of gigs. So I didn't really know his music that well, and of course, his music seems so effortless and easy, and it's actually really hard. It's really hard music. You know, there's lots of different. You know, the way he hears sounds as well as in colours and what kind of heat and stuff. He's a fantastic musician. Yeah, and a great experience. You know. And
you've worked with Freddie Mercury?
Well, yeah, I had done on a few times. All of them with you as well. When he used to come into Time, the musical.
Oh yeah,
and he'd come in to do those late night.
God, I forgot about that show. Yeah. We did that in the West End, wouldn't we? For a long time.
Yeah, that was the first big show with you'd get paid a session fee per show, which at the time was £60. That was what we used to get for a 3-hour session in the 80s.
So you met him there,
yeah, and we that was through Mike Moran, who's and I'm working with Mike was always fantastic. I used to go on holiday with him every year as well, and Dave Clark, and had the best time for many years. And anyway, Freddie did the opening of the Barcelona Olympics, and Mike having co-written Barcelona. Yeah, you know, we went over as a band to play with him at the Palace, and there was lots of shenanigans went on, but we had a very good time. Yeah, and a lot of fun matches with Tim Rennick and
Ray Russell.
Yeah, that's right. David Arts and Frank Ricotti, who was supposed to come but couldn't be asked in the end, and sent Greg Knowles. But no one knew until the last minute. I remember Tim Rennick. He was the day before he finished the what's the band he used to play with? David Gilmour.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Pink Floyd. He came off, and we had to wear these tuxedos, Freddie.
Oh God, yeah.
And he turned up, and he managed to get one sorted at the airport at Mossbros, but he couldn't get any shoes, so he had these white pumps that he wore. Anyway,
it worked.
And it was lovely. Am I right in saying you've spoken to Ian Thomas?
Yeah.
Did Ian Thomas tell you about the time he forgot his drums?
No.
Oh, well,
no.
Maybe you should tell him. On the way to a session.
What happened?
Well, we were on Air Studios, and actually, he was playing a track for Phil Collins to play along to. So his track wasn't being kept, but obviously he needed the drums. It was the rest of us were playing live, and Dan was being kept. And Yante brought. Well, we got to the studio, and he's running around. I said, "What's up?" He said, "I've forgotten my kit." So.
Anyway, a slight problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's my favourite.
Oh my God.
How do you forget your instrument? But that's what
can happen.
That's what drummers are for you.
No, it's not. Yes, it is.
I'm not sure you've forgotten your kit that I can remember.
Oh, I don't think so.
I've done some interesting things that have turned about when you do, because basically as a session player, I'm sure you all know, is you turn up you didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know who was going to be on the session, who the artists were.
Yeah.
A lot of times you didn't even know what the money was. But when you got older, that stopped being an issue. But I turned up to play on a session for the MD was Rick Wentworth, as I remember, and it was Snake Ranch, which is which is no longer there, which is just by the 606 Club.
Blocks Road, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Jeremy Stacey owned it for a while.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Anyway, they turned up there, played on this lovely ballad, which had a guide vocal on, and then it turned out to be Patti Austin and George Benson, which is
I remember.
I loved it, you know.
Yeah.
And years later, George, I was playing at Ronnie's, and there was with Madeline Bell, the great Madeline Bell, and George Benson came backstage, and I said, we were chatting away, and I said, I played on one of your tracks. And he went, hey, I knew I recognised you.
Oh man.
And I said, yeah, I had to leave it at that but we never met. But, yeah.
And so how did you get into, can you remember how you got into doing, because you've done so many major TV shows?
Nothing's last like Strictly. No,
I mean,
no TV show I've ever done. I mean,
same.
TV shows like when you played incidental music like Taggart. That was like 10 or 12 years of doing that. And even one year, because we were on it for so long, and Brett did it, that's for Mike Moran. Mike said, we're going up to Scotland to be in an episode. And that was a fantastic little extra that came about. So somewhere, there's probably 2 seconds of us in the back of one of the murders up in Scotland,
And you've also gone up, which I remember years ago. You went up to I don't know where it was, but you went somewhere, and one of the Wombles.
Well, I am very close friends with the Wombles. Mike Bat, very, very much so, and I'm very.
It's great fun.
Very, very close friends with Madame Cholet, and. She's a bass player, and we've duetted together on many occasions.
Yeah, what a fantastic thing that is, though, doing.
We and David were playing in Greg Lake's band, and we were just rehearsing for our second tour.
That's
and the BBC had approached Dave about MD and their new show, because Laurie Holloway was going to leave the show with Michael Parkinson, and they were looking for a new MD for Strictly Come Dancing. And Dave said, no, he's not, because he's going on tour with Greg Lake, because we were part of the band, So we were in rehearsals for that.
Yeah.
And they'd asked Dave a few times, and he said no, he's unavailable, unfortunately. And we were in rehearsals with Greg Lake, and in one of the breaks, me and you were sitting on the floor opposite the studio in South London. Is it Terminal?
Yeah.
And we were sitting over the road. He was having a smoke. I was passive smoking. We were sat on the floor, and Greg came out of the dressing room, out of the rehearsal room, and into his car. And then, while we were just sat, just chatting, we there was shouting and swearing and effing and blinding was coming from the car, that Greg was in.
Yeah.
And Greg came back in, and when we went back into the dress, he said, "The tour's off, guys. I'm sorry." So that was the end of that. And I was going home. I was taking Dave home that night, and we were going across Tower Bridge. And I said to him, "Do you give that BBC gig? Is that?" And he said that no, when gone, they've sorted that one. I said, "Look, just give him a call and just let them know that you're available if they haven't, And after I pushed him a few times, he just made the call quickly as we were going over the bridge, and he just said, "Look, if spoke to the producer he's speaking to, and they said, 'Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
we haven't we've spoken to a few people, but we want you.'"
Yeah, because they kept ringing them, didn't they? Yeah,
and that was it. And that was the start of so on Series 4, because on Strictly they did 2 series of 1 year and 1 series on the second year. So from Series 4, we've been doing Strictly Come Dancing from September to Christmas time, and that led on to, we didn't do the first year, but we started doing the arena tour the year after. So that's been a fantastic gig,
Yeah,
absolutely a phenomenal gig.
And so many different styles to play, isn't there?
Yeah, well, that's what's so great about it, I think.
It is. It's always...
There's a lot of challenges to playing on live television,
Yeah,
and sight reading, doing so much music in such a short space of time, and working for someone that is so particular as Dave is.
Oh my God, fantastic!
He's very, very, very detailed. He takes his brief very, very seriously. That it has to sound like the records, has to sound like what the couples are dancing to, an edit of the record, sped up and slowed down and all that they do, and so he's very, very nuanced and everything.
And he knows everyone's part. Obviously, he's really thorough. He's brilliant.
He's one of our closest friends, and I hate to say it, I really do, but he's as close as I've known to a genius. And
Incredible.
I've been close to a few, and anyway, I don't want to go on about it.
And that's and that's the thing, isn't it? For any up and coming players, and they want to get into maybe work like that, you never know what's going to crop up. You never know who's sitting there watching you on a gig. Even if you're maybe, I don't know, you get a call and can you come and do this gig, and you may not feel like it or whatever. It's pretty damn important, isn't it? Because you don't know who's there.
Yeah.
You don't know who's on the end of the phone. You
need to play as much as you can. Any advice I would give anyone, younger musicians, is to play everything, play every form of music you can, even if it's not in your wheelhouse. Do any kind of gig, turn up and play that gig. I mean, we've all fell into turning up for a gig and it's being a pain in the arse, and you don't, and you make fun of it a little bit, that's really important not to do. As Brett says, you never know who's out there, who's watching you. And you never know what's going to lead from one to another. In case of point, my career's been one phone call to another. And that's just luck. I never thought you could make a living doing this.
Well, it's part of the gig, isn't it? Just like getting out there and just taking a lot of different things and just seeing what happens. Enjoy yourself.
Remember, the reason you picked up an instrument in the first place is to enjoy it.
Yeah,
that when you turn up for a gig and someone at the end of it gives you some money or something, you can't. That first time that happens, try and remember that, because it's the same.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same. It's really important to have that joy of playing,
I don't think he is, but you don't seem like the type to be. Do you ever get Did you ever get nervous before you went? Yeah.
Of course,
you just hit it well.
No nerves. You get nerves if you're unprepared.
I think it's healthy. It's fine at a certain amount.
It's very healthy. It's a question of is knowing how to use any nerves and apprehension. Like say, if you've done enough work on the gig, whatever you're doing, great. But if you're it's like on set, it's got to give you enough work as you'll find any. In the old days when there was loads of sessions about, you turn up and have a look at the book in front of you and see what you got to play. You know, you'd give us a quick scan round, like literally just to see if you can see some semi-quavers or some 13s and time signature and stuff. Just the first thing you do, you know, then you can sit down, put your gear up and get comfortable, and then start looking through the. But you know, you have to be prepared for anything. Yeah, and you know, and if don't be scared to put your hands up if you can't play something, you know. Yeah, which is it's very hard to do if you're playing in an orchestra and you've made a mistake on a take and you think maybe I've got away with it. You haven't got away with it. Don't forget, there's only one bass guitar, one guitar, one drum kit in a band, you know, and although you probably can't hear it as you're playing it, when you're going into the booth, it's been the loudest thing they have in there. So always put your hands up and don't worry. If no one should be judging you, everyone makes mistakes, even the fiddle players.
100%. And it's like, you know, I was saying before, and with the other guys, it's word of mouth is really powerful, isn't it? So it's like part of the reason why you're there is because, you know, you've built up a reputation or, you're known for being reliable, nice feel.
There's fundamentals of turning up on time, having a pleasant demeanour, making sure your gear works. Yeah, you know, just being a nice person. Yeah, you know, that's that's half the job. Then the rest of it is, can you do the gig? You know, but you'll find if you're a great player that hasn't got a nice demeanour, does turn up late, you know, you have to be a really great player if you're going to work. Yeah, really true. Yeah, you won't last 10 minutes. You know. Yeah. So I think they're often overlooked, but very important things to say. You know, to note. I think
100%, definitely. So, Trev, have you ever had that nightmare scenario, which I definitely have, where tracks? I don't know. You're on session. Maybe the people might not know you that well, or whatever.
Might be a TV show
or whatever. Yeah, and you're suddenly you've blown it on one section, or you've made a mistake somewhere.
No, I've not done that. No, no, of course I've done it. I mean, there's one occasion I remember on Strictly we were doing a Stevie Wonder's Sir Duke, and the famous riff that everyone knows, of course, and it was up. As a lot of the time, one of the challenges in Strictly is playing these great tunes that you know and love, either too fast or too slow. Yeah, just out of the pocket, one way or the other. Yeah, and it's really tricky. Anyway, we're playing Sir Duke fast, too fast. Well, too fast for me. It was. Anyway, and it came down to the bit that was and I was off by half an inch on the top note. Anyway, we went through and finished, and it was fine. And as a lot of times on Friday nights, I'd get texts from musicians saying, "Hey, man, that sounded good," or "That was a bit," or "How was blah blah." And on that particular, I had about 25 texts from musicians asking me if I was okay. That's a kind of that's a kind of
that's your followers going
tight group us musicians are and how much care we have for each other.
I remember doing on that show as well, where obviously you were on it, but we were in the middle of something. It was live as well, and Dave was, thank God it was Dave, but he was like, quick, because it's all synced, you know, if we've got click and what have you. And I didn't play the minim. I missed it. So it was getting out of sync for about 2 seconds. With quick reactions, you know, just shut the sync off. Brilliant.
That's right. Yeah, no, they did that with even during COVID when he pressed go on the click and nothing happened, you know.
Yeah.
Or he pressed go and it started and then it stopped.
Because that's the thing about doing everything live. That's it can be seriously challenging, but great fun. For you bass players out there, you may want to know about Trev's gear, because I remember working on loads of sessions with you where suddenly, like, you'd come in, I don't know, maybe two guitars, 4 strings, but then one session I was on and you came up with this ironing board, which was like 5 string, really early on when they first came out, I think.
I think I had the first 6 string.
6 string, that's it. That was
I was going to try to work. I was, again, you know, I had these phases of anyone I admired, I'd like to look at their way of playing. You know, mentioned Marc King, or and Anthony Jackson was a huge hero of mine. So, and just his note placement and lengths, I found just beautiful. They were, you know, we all know about leaving space for the snare drum, but he took it to far beyond anyone that I've ever known. He's brilliant. Anyway, but I had this. That was 80s. That when I played 6-string with Freddie. But I mean, I'm back to now playing Fenders basically, but I have well-made Fenders that made by Overwater up in Carlisle that make my basses. They make phenomenal. Overwater, yeah. Chris May up over makes fantastic instruments. They're really comfortable to play. They're beautifully made and they sound great, you know.
Yeah.
So I use those. I have a pedal board. Its name escapes me at the moment. I have no interest in these things. I just want to play the bass. Yeah. This is my problem. I mean,
does it sound good and does it work?
Yeah, does it play the bass? I mean, years ago, I turned up for a session and I went up to the guy, which was Paul Hart, and I said, how do you want this to sound? You know, meaning, do you want, you know, like a buzzy string? Do you want like new strings?
Muted,
you know, you're looking for flat wow. You know, like what sort of? And he said he wanted it to sound like a bass, which I went, I get that, you know, because I was never a bass player that would take a lot of instruments to a session.
Yeah.
I'd take 2 maybe, but all the jingles and all the sessions we were doing, when we were doing 4 or 5 a day, I'd take 1.
Yeah.
And that would be it. I might have a few in the car, but I'd take 1 out, and that's what I'd play.
Yeah.
And down at Strictly, I have like 5 basses. The one I use mainly, which is I've got an Overwater Fender Jazz and a Overwater P bass. I have a 4-string Fender Jazz, a Status fretless, and your custom
upright as well. You've got that.
Yeah, we have the NS Ned Steinberger 5-string.
That sounds amazing as
upright. Well. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm not a double bass player by any stretch of the imagination, but I do an impression of one, and that sort of gets. No,
it's amazing.
Gets it through, and I've got this pedal board thing that's amazing. It's really great.
It's got an awful lot of buttons on it.
Yeah, it's good. And I've got a guitar player called John Paracelli sits to my right.
Yeah,
and he helps me to work it when.
I've seen him do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I've Dave come over, or even Geoff have come over and play with these things for me. I don't know what they do.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah.
I've got a setup that I've called SCD, and and it's got all my presets. I took it, I had it in my home studio and programmed it to have all the sounds I think I need for that gig. And every September, on the first couple of shows, John Paracelli will remind me how to work it. So that's my gear. Sorry.
No, it's a load of you bass players are going to want to know that.
If you want to come around and look at it, let me come around.
Yeah, by the way, thank you for letting me use your house. It's great. He's got his new house. He's had it for a year now. It's beautiful. Done a lot of work on it.
There's a lot more to go.
So, because I remember it really well. I was saying this earlier that you remember that transition from analog days to digital. God,
wow,
that was a big effect on.
Well, it's
players, wasn't it?
It's secular again, isn't it? You know, remember when the Lynn drum came about, and all the drummers were going to lose their gigs, and they all had Sin drums and
Simmons and
all that Simmons kits and stuff, and then it was all synth basses, and all the bass players weren't going to go and work, and it's these things happen, don't they? And
totally,
and they go on for a little bit, you know. But
isn't it funny? Like everyone still absolutely loves the analog because it just sounds better. It hasn't got those parameters.
I always loved,
I think it,
on sessions. I've always loved what there's a load of thinking time now that's lost on sessions where you play a take on something and you begin to do another, so they wind the tape back, and that would take 2 minutes. You know, and in that 2 minutes you go, all right, well what I'll do is you'd be looking at the chart and you go, I'll do that. You'd nail a couple more things down. That's all gone now. It's digital. It's all like go again. One more. Okay, straight. Yeah. So you never have that time. That just all you need is 30 seconds to readdress something. You know, it's like
that's so true. Yeah.
When a lot of producers would, I would say, when they say, one more, and then I want more direction than that. Okay, if you want me to do one more, why? So in what area do you want? Do you want less or more or different feels or something in place? The sound, don't just give me one more. You know, I'll do 2 takes before I question you.
Yeah.
As to why you want more.
Why do you want me to keep doing another take?
No,
I thought that was all right.
No good musician will leave a take if he doesn't believe in it.
Really true. Yeah, it's really true.
I'll stay there all day if I'm not getting something,
or
if there's something to find. But if you're keeping me there just because, then you need to find someone else.
Yeah. And
there's lots of guys that sit there and be your puppy, but
you're not going to do that, no.
Well, for a little while I will.
You will for a while, but
if you're polite.
Yeah, as long as you're nice.
Yeah. The parking is good parking.
So, if anyone wants to hear about more the artists and work you've done, or just a bit more about your life, you got a website?
Yes, trevorbarrybass.com.
Trevor who?
Barrybass.com.
Okay.
Can you say it?
trevorbarrybass.com.
Yeah, I think I said it better.
We got a problem with that.
R's. Lazy R's. Yeah, it's very funny. Make your own jokes up.
Yeah. Trev, thank you so much, man.
It's a pleasure.
It's been so great speaking to you again.
Again
and again after how many years?
40 something. It's ridiculous.
Cheap. Well, no. Man, thank you so much.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon, man.
See you later, mate.
See you, mate.